Hey guys, Selwyn here from WynnStrength.com, bringing you the second day of week 9 of the Powerbuilding 2 template by Barbell Medicine. If you like the videos, please hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with my training. We only have one more week to go and I'll do a final overview, so click that subscribe button to see what happens in the end. And also, if you like this video, click that thumbs up please. I would really appreciate it. So on today's agenda, we do have the competition style bench press, which last week we matched my previous 1 rep working PR max of 315 pounds. So with that in mind, we're obviously going to shoot for a little bit above 315, hopefully 325, but potentially 320. So we're going to work our way up to triple plates and we'll see how it goes from there. After the competition style bench press, we will be doing some pause SS yoke bar squats and wrapping up with some beltless strict overhead pressing. So here we go. Okay, so we're getting through the warm-ups. We've shifted over to heavy singles. I'm doing approximately 20-pound jumps all the way up, so that gives us a good amount of warm-up time as well as some good lower weights to dial in the sets, dial in that technique along the way. One thing that I have been trying recently is to help deal with the shoulder pain is to do some around the head movements with a dumbbell, kind of similar to the shoulder rock by Kabuki Strength. I can't afford to buy one of those specialty pieces of equipment, so I just use a dumbbell. And as you can see here, I'll wind it around the head. What that does is it just supposedly helps activate the shoulders and stretches out the muscles. If anything, at the very least, what it does is it helps deal with some shoulder pain and mitigate some of that shoulder pain during the bench press. I like to do it either before or right after a set. That way I'm getting the blood flowing and it feels like a nice stretch all across that ball and socket joint there. So you are kind of getting that full articulation of the shoulder joint, just greasing up, getting the joint lubricated and used to some movement as well as the regular bench press movement. But that's one little thing I found that's been helping the last couple of weeks. Now, whether that be a placebo effect or not, it's working, so I'm going to take it. So whether it's just the simple fact that I am moving the shoulder more than less is helping, or that movement specifically, it's loaded and I'm stretching at the same time, I'm not too sure what it is, nor do I really care too much right now. I'm just trying to mitigate the pain that I feel while I bench press, and that's mainly presenting itself in pain in the biceps insertion point right at the elbows. So a couple of things, one little thing that I'm doing to help with that, but it's not really hindering my bench press in any way. It still does have a slow descent, but that's always been the case. I'm not too concerned with that. So hopefully we'll work our way up to triple plates and above today. Okay, so we just hit 315 for a single. I think I'm going to call it there. I started to get a cramp in my lower back, which isn't atypical for my bench press style. I think it's just coming with practice. I'm probably taxing my lower back a little bit more than usual for a block. I haven't had a deload week necessarily for the last 9 weeks now apparently, so something I like to personally do is probably give it a little break at the 4-week, 5-week mark. But we're powering through the program to see how it all goes through. I'm looking forward to a change of program in the 2 weeks actually, so it'll be good to give the bench press a break, which is why you might be wondering why I'm not stopping doing the bench press, because I am experiencing some pain during the movement. The pain isn't major, it's more mild discomfort, and I think I can push through it for at least 1 more week, so I'm going to just ride it out and bear with the pain. But unfortunately it is 315, probably close to an RPE 9, just because the form broke down there a little bit and taken a really long time on the descent. It felt like it probably doesn't look like that in the video or the replay or in real time, but during the moment it feels like I'm taking a really long time to lower that weight. But any faster, like I've said before, really throws off my balance and makes a movement feel really out of control. So that's the speed at which I'm comfortable with lowering the weight, whatever speed at which you can lower the weight under control is the best speed for you. If you can really drop it quickly without bouncing it off your chest, then that's great. But if you can't, like me, it's just going to be a slow bench press. So we're going to leave it at 315 for this week. Unfortunate, yes, but one of the good things with the RPE training, again, is to listen to your body and listen to what your muscles are telling you. Don't just hit it for sheer numbers, which you can call for at times, but today it doesn't feel like I should be pushing it too far. So we're going to move on to some volume work with the bench press. So we're going to drop the weight down, do reps of 4, and then get some more volume. That way you just increase that tonnage for today's session. Okay, so we just got through with our first volume set, 290 for a set of 4. Feeling good. Not too much strength improvement over last week. This is the exact same weights we did last week, so no actual improvement in the weight forward, but again, no progress backwards, which is great. One thing you'll notice with the replay is what I mentioned before, that first rep just feels uncontrollable to start off with, but then from the second rep on to the last, you can see a noticeable decrease in the amount of time it takes to lower it and obviously lift it up. But that descent seems to be one of my weak points for the first session of the bench press, so possibly something I need to work on in the future. Increase that speed. I've been trying, but again, just the comfort level, especially when the weight gets heavy, you kind of revert to your old ways and your old habits, because that's what's been ingrained in your muscle memory. So again, another reason why it's very important to stress proper technique, especially during the warm-ups and obviously during the heavy sets, but there's always going to be form breakdown when you try and push the weights heavier and heavier as well. Even the reps, once the reps and fatigue starts to kick in, then that's where you see a form breakdown. So we've got a couple more sets to go, and we're going to wrap it up for today's bench press. Okay, so today's session is not going as planned. We just finished our top set of pause squats with the SS Yoke Bar, coming in at 250 pounds for a set of 8. This was RPE 8 last week. This week it's feeling more like an RPE 9. I'm not too sure what's happening, but it's probably an accumulation of fatigue. The mental game today is definitely not there. I'm not switched on mentally as I normally am, so the weights are feeling heavier. The session is feeling a lot more fatiguing than it usually is. My arms from the bench press just aren't, I can feel my arms getting sore and sore as the squats go on. So again, lifting isn't necessarily a physical endeavor, it's definitely a mental thing. When your head isn't in the game, it can put up a lot of roadblocks that you just kind of have to work through. I'm going to try and eke out another set here at 240 for a set of 8, and we're going to call it for the pause squats. And I'm going to wrap up with some overhead press. But I do just want to stress that it's days like today where it's important to continue with the workout and just push through the mental barrier that you're putting up for yourself. I think it's times like this when your body wants to quit that it's the perfect time to continue to push through, because it builds a resilience and a fortitude that you can count on later on in life when something really needs to be done, when it has to be done. And having gone through voluntary hard work, as it were, when you don't want to do it, I think is key to helping develop a strong mind and some mental toughness, as it were. So we're going to continue on with one more set of pause squats, and then wrap up with some overhead press, and we'll call it a day. Okay, so that wraps up beltless overhead pressing for today. I do want to end on a high note, so I did end up getting 2 extra reps over last week at the weight of 125, so that means we hit 125 pounds for a set of 12, and then we did some back off volume sets. I didn't keep the weight stable for the sets across. We did 95, then 85, 75, and we ended up on 65. So kind of a burnout set there. Could really feel it in the triceps and shoulders. What it did do was help with the core stability, and because there's just a high number of reps, it's making me focus on maintaining that tight core and bracing, and as well as firing up the glutes to make sure that everything locks into place. Obviously it's not perfect, so you will see some breakdown of form as the sets go on and as the reps increase in count. So obviously something for me to work on. Overall, this session took 1 hour and 25 minutes, but it felt really long. I think some accumulated fatigue is starting to set in. I will take the next 2 days off to help recover and rejuvenate, and then we'll hit it back again with the deadlift day. But I think overall, another blue collar workout. This is why I think it is important for people to not necessarily coach themselves, but to at least get a template, at least get something else to guide your training, because old me training about 4 or 5 years ago would have not done as much as I did today. Because if I'm basing my workouts purely on how I feel, today was not the best day to work out. Today was not the day to do heavy bench pressing. Today was not the day to continue for an extra 30 minutes past the hour mark. So I think one of the best things about training with a template or training with a coach is that you're able to push yourself further than what you think you're capable of yourself. And that's just because of the mental limitations we have, how we're feeling, our emotions deceive us, all the mental games, all the psychology behind performance is something that it's hard for us to unlock. That's why some of the best athletes, actually all of the best athletes, have coaches. I would like it if you could comment below and name me one professional athlete, top 10 even, any athlete in the top 10 positions of their sport that doesn't have a coach. Now you'll say, oh, but I'm just training for recreation. And I get that. It's fun to work out. It's fun to create your own programming. It's fun to do this. But at the end of the day, if you want to progress and proceed in an efficient manner, I think getting a coach, getting a program, getting a template, literally just getting somebody else to guide you. They could be only 2 steps ahead of you in the game, but they have 2 more steps than you're aware of. And what that does is it helps you kind of fast track the learning process. You can learn by using someone else's mistakes and someone else's lessons. You're able to apply to yourself and push yourself further than you think's possible. As I said, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have done a workout like this because I wouldn't have thought it was possible. I would have quit sooner rather than later, and I probably wouldn't have pushed out as much as I have. And in the recent year of me using templates and using other people's knowledge to train myself has, I think, accelerated my gain, accelerated my strength development by a lot than if I had tried to do it myself. And that's one thing as well with learning more, gaining more knowledge, talking to people, pretty much absorbing as much as you can, because as it says, when you learn from other people, you're standing on the shoulders of giants because they've done it before. They're aware of what to do and what not to do and how to push yourself and how much the average human is capable of. And I would say that you're average too. So if these programs are written for I would say the average person, if not lower, because you need to apply to a lot of people, if these programs are written for the average person, it's more than likely than not you're an average person. Unless you're a professional athlete, in which case I don't think you're watching this video and I don't need to convince you of getting a coach. All in all, I think having a template has been great. I am looking forward to the end of the template and having a bit of a break. I think my body is starting to slowly show some signs of wear and tear for the last 9 weeks of heavy, just pushing it as far as I could. So just like anything, you need to stress and then you need to recover and adapt. So with that being said, I'm going to stick with the template. Obviously, I'm going to ride it out till week 10, no matter how far it gets me. And then I'm going to take about 2 to 4 weeks off of just training. So that about wraps it up for the second day of week 9, second last week of the Powerbuilding 2 template. Again, I want to thank you if you've been made it this far of watching. If you do, please like. And if you want to see more of how the journey progresses, subscribe below. I'll leave a box somewhere here. If you want to catch the other videos, I'll leave some links as well. You can see that on the playlist in my YouTube channel. Otherwise, check out the blog, WynnStrength.com. That's where I put a weekly write-up of my training. A little bit of an overview where I put the sets, reps, RPE, and a little description and some 2020 hindsight into the week's performance so far. I'll also leave links for the Barbell Medicine crew, where you can get digital templates like the one that I'm using today, as well as a bunch of other free resources, which I found great. They're all science and evidence-based. And I want to thank you again for watching. This has been Selwyn from WynnStrength, and remember, a better life through strength.